Ladies and gentlemen, tonight on This is Exclusive, we come to you with a very special story. It's about India's southernmost frontier, which has been at the center of a high-stakes debate over development and conservation. The National Green Tribunal, in fact, has upheld the environmental clearance for the ambitious Great Nicobar Holistic Development Project. Now, in its ruling, the tribunal said that there was absolutely no good ground to interfere, effectively clearing a major legal hurdle for the project to move forward. Envisioned as a strategic game changer, this project will effectively open up new opportunities for India's maritime future. Republic, the only channel with an exclusive ground report, brings you a peek inside this project. What does this mean for India's maritime security? And more importantly, what kind of opportunities really come up with this Great Nicobar project?
At the gateway of the Malacca Strait, Great Nicobar stands guard over one of the world's busiest sea lanes. An infrastructure project worth nearly 80,000 crore rupees is poised to redefine India's maritime future.
Today we are here at the southernmost frontier of India. This is Campbell Bay in Great Nicobar Island. Down south 70 kilometers from here is Indra Point, the southernmost tip of India. Government of India has big plans for this island.
अंडमान निकोबार द्वीप समूह में जो हमारे यशस्वी प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी GNI प्रोजेक्ट जो लेकर आ रहे हैं, लगभग इनिशियल स्टेज में 72,000 करोड़ का ये प्रोजेक्ट है और कंप्लीट होते होते ये 1 लाख करोड़ तक पहुंचेगा.
Conceived by Niti Aayog in 2021, the project includes a port, dual-use airport, township, and a 450 MVA solar and gas power plant. The region is just 90 nautical miles from Indonesia's Sumatra, giving India a direct line to one of the busiest maritime trade routes, that is the Malacca Strait.
मैं कैम्बल बे का निवासी होने के नाते मैं पुनः एक बार जरूर यही कहूंगा कि कैम्बल बे में सेटलर हो नॉन सेटलर हो, इसको कोई भी विरोध नहीं कर रहा है और जल्दी से जल्दी इसको बनाने के लिए सब बोल रहे हैं और उनका ये भी एक इंतजार है कि कब यहाँ पे ये काम शुरू होगा और कब हमें कोई रोजगार का अपॉर्चुनिटी मिले, कुछ कमाने के लिए कुछ रास्ता बने. तो इसके लिए वो ईगरली वेट कर रहे हैं, बहुत ही इच्छुक हैं कि ये कब शुरू होने वाला है. तो इसलिए मैं पूरे अंडमान GNI ग्रेट निकोबार आइलैंड के पूरे तमाम लोगों की ओर से मैं यही कहना चाहूंगा सरकार को भी कि जितना जल्दी हो सकता है इस प्रोजेक्ट को शुरू किया जाए.
मैं खुशनसीबी सोचता हूं और गवर्नमेंट को भी इस चीज के लिए धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूं कि इस छोटे से द्वीप जो इस आइलैंड को कोई नहीं जानता था, जो भारत का अंतिम छोर है, हमारा ग्रेट निकोबार आइलैंड, बहुत ही हमारा सुंदर सा एक छोटा सा द्वीप है. इस द्वीप में हम 7,000 के पॉपुलेशन, बस हमारा 7,000 का एक छोटा सा पॉपुलेशन वाला द्वीप है. लेकिन आपको बताते हुए मुझे ये गर्व लग रहा है कि गर्व महसूस हो रहा है. हमारा कैम्बल बे जोग्राफिकली सिंगापुर से बड़ा है. हमारा लैंड सिंगापुर से बहुत ही काफ़ी बड़ा क्षेत्र में हमारा ग्रेट निकोबार आइलैंड है.
This island is as sleepy as it can be at this time. Behind me is the Campbell Bay port area. There are a few jetties here. These jetties are meant to service the local population. Apart from passenger and cargo ships, these jetties are also used by the defense forces for their needs. Apart from these jetties, despite the strategic location of Great Nicobar Island, this island doesn't have a major port.
However, critics have long argued that the project risks damaging 15% of the island's forest cover and affecting 2 tribal groups. But the National Green Tribunal has now upheld the environmental clearance, stating there is no ground to interfere. It noted that adequate environmental safeguards were embedded in the clearance conditions. The Great Nicobar project sits at the crossroads of strategy, development, and ecology. As the debate continues, India moves ahead, strengthening its southern frontier, expanding maritime capacity, and shaping its role in the Indo-Pacific.
Well, from the maritime security standpoint, what does this NGT decision really mean? How does this really protect us? And why it is of great geopolitical significance, this particular area? I'm just going to quickly take you some of the points which essentially indicates the strategic positioning of this place. It is located just next to the western entrance of the Malacca Strait. Is key for global trade because that's the entry point. So it basically gives us an outpost. It's the water port to bolster Andaman and Nicobar Tri-Services Command. So that's the maritime security angle that comes into the picture. Economic gateway positions Great Nicobar as the major transshipment hub, which wasn't what it was in the past, and how it basically dramatically changes livelihood as far as those in this area are concerned. Reduced dependence, it allows to capture and service its own and regional cargo domestically. So it essentially allows more movement of trade and job creation, expected to create jobs that attracts FDIs too. So that is the other reason why they're saying that this is about economic prosperity in the area. Earlier today, I also spoke to Vice Admiral A.K. Chawla, a Navy veteran who served in the area, who's helped us understand why this decision is a game changer and would essentially mean that it protects India, especially keeping in mind we have a belligerent neighbor. Tonight on This Is Exclusive, we have a very special guest, Vice Admiral A.K. Chawla. Admiral Chawla, thank you very much for joining us on this broadcast. In fact, a lot has been spoken about the Great Nicobar project and the fact that there have been divisive opinions on this entire issue. But someone who's been there, someone who's been at the forefront of it, the strategic importance of a project like this, no one better than you, Admiral Chawla, to really explain why the country really needs a project like this.
Thank you firstly for having me on. You know, the Andaman and Nicobar Islands and the Lakshadweep Islands are strategic outposts that we are very fortunate to possess. And for many years, for various reasons, we have not been really able to capitalize on their strategic location. But in the recent past, I think several moves have been made, which is, and this is one of them, the establishment of a container transshipment port on the Great Nicobar Island. So the strategic significance of this is particularly the fact that it is located very close, firstly, to the Strait of Malacca, right at the entrance. It's on top of the 6-degree channel, which is the main channel through which the merchant traffic flows from the Suez Canal to the Malacca Strait. It is also very close to Southeast Asia, and possibly the closest point that we have to the South China Sea as well. So from a strategic point of view, this container terminal port that is being established, as also the dual-use airport that is being established, will bolster our presence, military presence in this very sensitive location. Besides being, of course, the primary purpose is commercial, besides being a transshipment port, which will hopefully serve, because of its location, the entire Bay of Bengal area, and over the years could evolve into an important shipping hub from there. So I think that is the major strategic significance. It gives us a huge outpost at the southernmost tip of India, very close to the Malacca Strait, and right astride the major shipping lane from going from the Suez Canal to the Malacca Strait.
Admiral Chawla, let me put it this way, because when the arguments were essentially made about why we do not require this kind of a project, it was essentially because you have the Shampan tribe and various other tribes, their presence there, and the fact that you're basically uprooting them from that very area. Let me then ask you, Admiral Chawla, absence of such a strategic outpost, what would that mean for India, assuming we did not have this outpost?
We already have a naval base at Campbell Bay, and we have a naval air station also called INS Bars, from which wide-bodied aircraft cannot take off and land, but short-range aircraft and aircraft like the Hercules can take off and land. So we have a basic naval and air presence capability out there. But that is very basic. So really the major sort of military presence that we have is in Port Blair, which is quite way up north from the area that we are interested in. So I think the absence of this would mean that, you know, our lines of communication, the deployments of ships and aircraft get that much longer. And this brings them that much closer to the area of maritime interest that we are looking at. So the absence is that, and yes, environmental concerns have been there, very rightly so. But I think the expert panel of the government, which is the National Green Tribunal, has looked at it. And I'm sure the ruling that they have taken will ensure that the biodiversity of the area and the ecological sensitiveness of the area is protected to the best capability. Of course, there will be, when you construct something, there will be a sort of displacement of some people as well as the biodiversity. But I think the area that we are looking at compared to the size of the island is not that much. And if it is handled correctly, as has been directed by the Green Tribunal, I'm sure these sensitivities will be looked after, because after all, you know, the biodiversity and the beauty of the area is also one of the factors of the attractiveness of the islands which you are looking at for tourism. So if we have to maintain that as well, I think the directives of the National Green Tribunal will need to be implemented rigorously. So I think it is a balance. You know, any development that you do anywhere in the country has to be a balance between the ecological needs as also the developmental needs.
Well, that's all that we could pack in this special edition of This is the Exclusive. Coming up, special programming from the AI Summit venue in the national capital.
I am absolutely fed up, like you are, I'm sure, with the U-turns of the BC